We're in the season. Oh, sorry.
Hello, I want everyone, I'm actually going to start over. I wasn't even paying attention at that beginning part, Steve. Just being honest. Hello. I want to tell you all about my experience growing up deaf. It's not been easy. So, what is it like to be deaf? The purpose of this video is to educate and help people understand and know what it's like. First of all, I started to feel criticized, and I needed to express that. And so my parents, they're hearing, and they have a hard time understanding a deaf person. So this is the reason why I'm doing this video, to help people better understand. I was adopted, and I'm thankful for my family for adopting me. But there was always something that I was missing. That real connection with like a true connection. So why am I saying this? I want you to see my experience, and I'm going to share that with you. So I grew up, I loved watching TV in the house. My family didn't understand my deaf needs. And it was not their fault. I don't really blame them. But I wish they understood. My family would all sit around and watch a movie, and I would need closed captioning. But it was hard to understand. I'd have to read people's lips on the TV screen. I'd have to sit really close. And at that time, there wasn't really hearing aids then. So I just had to kind of figure out what was going on. I wanted to hear and understand. Now I have a hearing aid. When a movie is funny and my family starts to laugh, I'm just looking around kind of going, what happened? My family wouldn't tell me. They'll be like, put your hearing aid on. Did they just say that? That's one thing that like kind of sticks with me. It's like what's out there in the real world. But when my own family said it, I didn't want anyone to interpret the movie for me. But to me, I felt like something was missing. And it hurt. So I was in middle school. And I was going to the bus. And all the kids would group around, wait for the bus. When my bus arrived, I went ready to get in, had my backpack. I had forgotten my backpack, and I tried to get the teacher to help me. It was right across from the gym. I saw a bunch of basketballs while I was at the gym, and I was kind of curious. So I opened the gym door, and a kid pointed and said, "That's him." It was a classmate of mine playing in the gym basketball. It was a hearing team. The coach said something, but I didn't understand him. He told me to throw the basketball, and I did, and that was easy. He was really impressed. I didn't have my hearing aid, so I didn't really know what he was saying. He gave me this paper for my parents to sign by the end of the week. Just then, the teacher came back in and yelled at me about what I was doing. I grabbed my bag and went to the bus to go home. My parents, I gave them the form, and they thought it was a good idea for me to play basketball. I brought the form back to the coach. I told him my family couldn't get me from school to home, but he said, "Don't worry about it, we'll discuss that later." But then I started to live in the dorm, and that helped a lot. I feel nervous, but kind of excited. I followed them into the dorm room. I went inside. I saw a TV with closed captioning. I felt so excited. I dropped all of my stuff and went to the couch and just watched. I just started to understand everything. I could see all of the words, and I just felt connected, like really connected. All the students thought I was really weird, but I didn't realize that there was closed captioning. I asked, "Do you have that?" They're like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh." My staff was hearing, but he knew how to sign. I was shocked. And I finally felt connected, like I belonged here. My culture and my community, it was amazing. On Fridays, I'd stay in the dorm room, and I couldn't wait to tell my mom. I'd arrive at home, and I'd tell them, "Do you realize there was closed captioning?" And then I needed but I couldn't wait for Monday so I could go back to the dorm. I enjoyed living there so much. I felt so connected, so immersed, and so involved. I wasn't missing anything. my sister had a problem with her TV, and so my mom got a new TV. When I got home, I saw it. Is that new? Our old TV was from a while ago, 1995. But this one had closed captioning. This was what I was talking about. And she was like, and my mom just like really didn't understand. I waited till everyone was asleep. I snuck in and I changed out the TVs. I was thrilled. I watched TV all night. I learned so much by reading the closed captions. I could understand the words. I could write them down and look them up in the dictionary later and learn the meaning, and I could feel my brain just understanding so much, because without captioning, I was so behind. Later, I was in my room. I had never gotten caught, and I saw the light flip on to get my attention. My mom had caught me. She told me I had 1 minute to change out the TVs. I asked her if she could wait. Maybe she would forget. So, waited. I had the TV and I brought it to college. But they didn't think I need to. They didn't understand. You know a TTY, a thing that you type on? The Lions Club had a Christmas event. They invited us to go to it. All of the kids went, and at the time, I was the only deaf person there. I had a present and I opened it up. It was a TTY. I was so excited. I finally had a way of communicating. I started to feel connected. Not 100% connected, but I could talk to deaf people now. And they all looked at me kind of oddly, but they didn't understand. They didn't know that a lot of deaf students had TTYs and that I was just really behind. Anyway, I arrived at home on Friday. I called and I used the TTY. And later I went out of the house And I got back to school and my friends were like, "You got a TTY?" And they said they tried to contact me, but I never got that. No one told me. Why? Why didn't they inform me that someone called me? I asked, and they're like, "Oh yeah, someone called you." And I was like, "Okay." It hurts me a little, yeah. It hurts. Because I'm deaf, are really hard to live. When they don't understand and don't know. They want me to live like I'm in a hearing world. Here's an example. So my family was all sitting around talking. And I happened to walk by. And every time, they all cover their mouths. Like, that makes me feel weird. Like, I just walked by and they have to cover their mouths like they're whispering. They don't understand how that is kind of offensive. Because the hearing people around don't hide their mouths when they're talking with other hearing people. But when deaf people are around, you have to do the same. It's like respect. Like, if I was a hearing person, would you cover your mouth? It's important to make sure that they understand. So a senior and I had a girlfriend, and every Friday and Thursday night, I'd go to her apartment. Every Friday at 6. Anyway, I arrived with my bags. I'd sit, watch a movie, we'd sit together. We'd get food, drink. She'd always leave to call someone. And I, just the person who, not really asking a lot of questions about that, like who is the person you're calling. I trusted her. I wasn't like trying to figure out who she was talking to. Anyway, I hadn't really had a relationship before. Anyway, she'd call and call and call. And I finally asked, I had no idea who she was talking to. So one time she just got up and walked away and got on her phone for like a while. I didn't know she was on her phone. I thought she was washing dishes. Her friend was telling me that she was talking to someone else behind my back. I walked into the kitchen to see with my own eyes. She opened the door so the freezer was covering her mouth. It was clear something was kind of up. I moved the freezer door. I left and I told her friend thank you. My girlfriend came running out after me, but I didn't really say anything. I was hurt. It hurt that she was talking to someone else behind my back. I got played. I had been a good boyfriend to her, and I deserved better. Some people are just ignorant. It's not their fault. They've never been educated about the deaf culture and the deaf community. But she needed to learn it's not like I completely pushed her out of my life, but she needed to learn and understand what was wrong with that. A lot of deaf parents talk bad against hearing people, but we can't really do that. I make friends with hearing people pretty easily. I've played basketball with them. Sometimes my deaf friends will come and saw us signing and they were like, I didn't know you were deaf. Some guy was trying to make fun of us as we were signing and how we couldn't hear, and I need respect. And that's my language and my culture. Hearing people need to understand that kind of stuff is hurtful. I got a job at a mainstream school. Anyway, it was a special event, assembly. All the deaf students sit on the front row and everyone else is behind them. And the interpreter is right there. There was a clown, and the clown came over to the interpreter and tried to start making fun of the interpreter. The deaf kids were just shocked. All the deaf kids, they didn't understand. What do you think you're doing? The clown was kind of taken back by that, but he just really didn't understand. But that's kind of what happens at stuff like that. The principal probably didn't understand and neither did the other staff, because it's not their language. They don't understand that that's offensive. They don't understand that the deaf people aren't laughing because that's hurtful to make fun of the interpreter. You don't do that. So I just wanted to thank you for sharing a list of things and stories of what we kind of go through, and so to better understand, and not to criticize, but just to inform the responsibilities. It's so important that that we're all the same and we're all treated the same. So that's why I did this video about what it's like to be deaf. So if a child is deaf and needs something, just give it to them. They need to be taught sign language first. Deaf need to learn sign language first. They'll grow and develop so much better. Some people think that teaching sign language isn't important, but it really is. So I love you all and thank you so much for watching about what it's like to be deaf.